In this video, we're going to set up the very beginnings of our web page. And to do this, we're going to use some tables to kind of define where we want the information to show up, whether it's text or images or the menu. Now, having looked at the storyboard on previous pages of the course, you'll notice that what we did want is we want it to, and I should do this with this. So at the top of the page, we know that we want to have a place here where we're going to put in the sort of a graphic that says classic and vintage motorcycles. So we'll define a spot with that. And we will create another place here where we're going to, I'm just kind of freehanding it here, but have buttons that will allow us to go to different pages. And then down here we'll have a little bit of text in this area here. We'll put an image in here somewhere. It won't be this big, but we'll define a spot for it. And at the bottom, we'll have a place for our copyright information, your contact information, stuff like that. So to do this, we could just simply go into KompoZer and start typing stuff in, leaving a spot here for, and centering it, leaving a spot here for the graphic at the top and stuff like that. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to set this thing up so that we'll have a web page that will have a width that is less than what you're looking at here. It'll just keep things simpler for what we're trying to do. So at the very top of your page, hit enter once just in case we want to get back to the top. We'll have a spot to go back to. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up tables. Now there's a whole debate about whether or not a website should have fixed widths, meaning that some people view websites with a screen width of 800 pixels. Some others have 1024, 1280 pixels, and up from there 1600. So it looks different on everybody's page unless you set it up for less pixels. Now, there's also a debate over whether or not you should just set up tables so that they automatically adjust to the page width, which is 100% typically. But what we're going to do, we're going to use a fixed width. So this will just make things a lot easier for you. So what I want you to do is to follow these instructions. So now that you know that we're going to put sort of a spot here and a spot here and a spot here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to insert a table. The top table here will have one row and one column. It'll look like this. That'll be where we put the graphic in. We'll worry about the layout hereafter. Right. Over here, we're going to throw in that table that will have 5 columns. Now we may decide that we want to have a buffer zone in between each one here, so we may end up ending up adding new cells in between here just to create a buffer zone, but we'll worry about that in a second. The third spot, if we take a look here, it's where we're going to put in the text information. So we'll create a table here too. Now the thing about the table is, yes, they have borders right now, but we won't worry about that. We're going to make the borders invisible so that when the visitor visits our page, they won't see that it's an actual table. And another one here, and another one here at the bottom for our copyright information. Now any of this can be changed. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a width of 950 pixels. I kind of went in between here. It seems to be a pretty accepted width. And so to do this, we're going to change the width of this table. Notice that it's 388. Now that's 388 plus the borders, plus what we call the padding on each side. So the text can't really touch the border. So there's a little bit of padding here. So added up, it has a width of 400. But what we're going to do here is we're going to right click. We're going to set it up for 950 pixels. We'll go to right click, table cell properties. We'll go from cells to table here, and we'll change the width from 400 to 950. Notice that we could also pick percentage of windows and make it 100, but we're not going to do that. And there's our border, there's our spacing, and there's our padding. So we'll click OK. We'll do the same thing with this table. Right click, table cell properties, go over to table, change it to 950. Keep in mind, this is great. You can pause the video anytime you want or skip ahead now that you know what you're doing. I could also, instead of right clicking, I just double click Click on table, 950. Whoops. Click OK. We'll worry about the cell alignment later. 950. So we're setting up sort of a template here for where our information is going to go based on our storyboard. We'll end the video with this, and in the next video we'll start adjusting the table.